Yeah, all set.
Hello and welcome, everyone. It is the first Saturday of the second month of the year, and I'm super excited to have this conversation live with Sandhya Mathur and Sanjeev Mathur. And I can see many of you joining live. So before we start, uh, why don't you share, where you are logging in from, and what do you expect from this session? So yeah, we can see a lot of comments coming in. While everybody is joining the session, let me welcome Sandhya and Sanjeev. So many of you might be knowing them, but those of you don't know me and don't know them, let me introduce them. So today we have the extraordinary duo Sandhya and Sanjeev Mathur, who have redefined coaching in India and beyond. Sandhya, an MCC coach and the first director of credentials at ICF Delhi NCR, has shaped the global coaching industry through deep empathy, mentorship to thousands of leaders and coaches in India and in the West, and serving them with life changing sapphire moments. So, those of you who are here, who are their mentors and who have worked with Sandhya, would know what I mean by sapphire moments. Welcome, Sandhya.
Thanks
So,
so
we
much,
have
Dev. Thank you. Always a pleasure being introduced by you. It just brightens my day. Thank you.
And thank you so much for me being in this space. So we have Deepika from Delhi, we have people from Mumbai, Devashish from Kolkata, Krishnan from Delhi NCR chapter. Hi, Indresh is Gurgaon. He's going to join us. Uh, okay, are you seeing a blank screen? What is that you could see? Somebody saying I can see a blank screen. Is that so? Oh, I think everybody else is able to see all of us. Just drop yes if you can see all of us. This is streaming across multiple platforms. Okay, so after Sandhya, let's go to Sanjeev. Okay, Sanjeev is an executive coach, ICF PCC, and a stellar business consultant with leadership experience in Microsoft, Oracle, Wipro, and he has helped over 50 leaders transition into C-suite and partnered with 40 enterprises to scale businesses. Welcome, Sanjeev. Yeah, so we have a lot of
Thank you so
people who
much.
is joining in from Faridabad, and I think everybody can see the screen. So, what's going to happen today? What's unique about this duo? So, most coaches who are here or aspiring coaches would know that coaches walk the solo path, but this duo, they have built something bigger together. Their organization inward focus is just not any coaching practice, it is a model to follow. And it blends business acumen with coaching mastery, offering powerful model for coaches, leaders, and business houses who dream of scaling it from good to great. And they're going to share all the secret with us today. So if you're excited, drop a comment. Excited, I want to see some energy on Saturday morning. Great. Gurminder can see and listen. Welcome, Gurminder. Welcome, Alok. Welcome, Dr. Hilsha Mishra from Gurgaon. So drop a comment and say if you are excited to know all about it. And today they're just not the speakers, but also sponsors of RAGA, the Coach Fest by Delhi ICF chapter, which is happening on 12th of February at India Habitat Center. And all of you are invited. There we are celebrating the spirit of coaching and transformation. I'll share a lot of details at the end. So can't wait to dive into their journey. So welcome all to the session on building careers and business with coaching. So let me start with a question which I think everybody would want to know. Like, every great movement, organization, it starts with a spark, with an origin story. So, Sandhya, as someone who has mentored countless coaches in India, in the West, and shaped coaching education, and Sanjeev, you have worked, your leadership pedigree in global corporation. And what led both of you leave behind IT and create inward focus?
So, can I go in first, Sanjeev?
Yeah, yeah, please.
Yeah. So, Debishi, thanks for this opportunity, first of all. What really happened, the way my journey panned out was I stepped out of the IT industry long, long ago to bring up my family. There was no family support when we were in Bangalore and other parts of the country, and I gave up my work in the IT industry. However, there were hobbies and things where I turned my passion into profession. But all of this time in the background, the most, can I say, the best passion, the passion to connect with people, listen to them, talk to them, that was just there. And what I was doing was I was talking to people. I thought I was talking to people, but I was just going around listening to them. And it just went on, I would walk around with a cordless phone for hours and keep doing things that I was doing. And I was talking to people were talking to me. And then I realized they were finding solutions to their challenges, goals. These were friends, family, so many people. And that's when I realized that this is actually a profession many, many years back. And it was different from the regular counseling and all of that. So that's when the journey started. I started with certifying myself and then got into coach education, leadership coaching, life coaching, coaching women to develop self worth, all of that, all of those areas of passion came through in coaching. And that's when, once I got into what I realized was that coaching as a process, as a modality, really aligned with um, my spiritual being. And that is what instead of segregating the two, I just incorporated Eastern philosophy and the concepts of emotional intelligence into my structured approach to coaching. That's somehow worked, and that's what I do through my mentoring other coaches and in my life and leadership coaching. And the EQ part has really proved to be very impactful in every area. Every session, every mentoring session, when we connect philosophy, Eastern philosophy, and EQ, and the ICF competencies, and then we go into leadership, all of that just comes together so well. And anyway, I can't talk about all of it here. So all of the style that I'm talking about, the unique approach, I would say, is going to be available in an upcoming book soon that I've written about, the approach and case studies, etc. The other part is in leadership also, the EQ. We coach executives at Inward Focus. We are coaching executives to executive presence, and that's where EQ really works, right? So, yeah, and I'm really a strong advocate of coaching as a leadership style, and we run some of those programs in different organizations where it's not just coaching. Sometimes, once in a while, the leaders develop that presence and they are in conversations with their team, and it's a coaching style. That
Wow.
is a different discussion at a different point of time, but I think That's
Yeah.
how my journey has panned out. That's as
Well,
succinct as I get.
thank you for
Yeah.
sharing that because Sandhya, I've known you for a while right now. We've been working in the ICF chapter, but this story is new. So, to my audience, who are going to listen to this recording maybe later on, if you think you can't be a coach, think twice. Whatever is your life state is, there's an origin story to who you are going to be in the future. And there's a lot of inspiration out here. So that was Sandhya's story. And what about you, Sanjeev? What is that you're going to share for the first time with our audience?
Yeah, my journey is quite different. Um, After about 20 years in the corporate world, I had to make a choice about whether I wanted to stay in it or do something, um, that I felt added more value to me, brought more of my skills out, and and to people who were younger, going up the ladder and could benefit from it. I had a lot I wanted to share, and I I spent about 15 years in Microsoft, 22 years in the corporate world, but this decision was shaped by those 15 years. Um, it all these IT companies were new in the country when most of us joined them, at least the people in my age group. Um, and just to give you a short snippet, we grew the business in those 15 years that I was there by 75 times, not
Wow.
75%, 75
Wow.
times, right? That takes its
75
toll.
times.
Times. Yeah. That takes its toll. And, that was a stage where all of us had experienced some form of burnout. All of us had worked in a small company that had just 10, and well, the big companies where you are now 600, 700 employees. It's a different world when when you work as an individual and when you work with a larger team. And although we knew what to do to keep growing the business, we weren't sure how. And that's a time when I felt a couple of things were happening, and I felt that this was going to happen in other parts, other industries in the country as well, particularly in retail, um, telecom. Um, Telecom had already started. I thought insurance was going to go that way, and I thought there would be many other people like me who would have grown at that kind of rate and would be experiencing some form of burnout, and they would be getting stuck with not having too many systems or methods to move forward. And that's when I got interested in and sort of changed professions and got into coaching, and specifically on consulting on execution. Yeah, not the strategy stuff, but on execution. That's my journey. And as far as inward focus is concerned, this is Sandhya's baby. I mean, I got involved gradually. I wasn't complete. We didn't like start it together and then build it out together. Sandhya is the one who started it out and got me involved. So
Wow.
that's
Thank you.
how I'm here. That's why I got out.
Yeah. So what I'm getting out of Sanjeev's story is that you came and to this side of becoming a consultant to make it easy for others. You were
Yeah.
already solving huge problems and you were getting delivered results. You could have stayed there and continued that path, but you wanted to give it back. Like Lena Nair says, like make it easy for who are coming next. So yeah, that kind of connects Sandhya and Sanjeev's philosophy, but still the name inward focus, Sandhya. It sounds like deep dive into mastery and knowing you, like your expertise in self awareness and transformation, and with your ability to transform leaders, find clarity, purpose, sapphire moments. Demystify the meaning of the name, please.
Sure, sure. So it began with looking for a synonym for introspection. And that is really the authentic, honest truth. But why was I looking for a synonym for introspection? Because Debishi, that's what we do. We catalyze introspection, isn't it? When we say that coaching brings forth the best potential in an individual, how are we going to find that potential? Correct? The goals, the challenges, the self awareness has to happen first. So, how do I trigger that? I need to trigger that reflection, catalyze that reflection, and then go from that awareness to acknowledgement to realization and then to action, correct? If action is required. So that's how it started. And that's how, I mean, I couldn't call a company introspection or reflection. And that's why I started thinking in terms of nouns, verbs, adjectives, everything. And inward focus came into being. And the thought behind it was that I've always considered coaching to be a very, very structured approach to spirituality. It is what that shift within
Oh,
that we are creating, right? That's what. And I would say inward focus is it signifies the essence of leadership. It's transformation from within. And coaching is, as we said, not about fixing external challenges. It's about bringing that awareness to our inner world, shifting perspectives, and unlocking potential. So, yeah. So, to have that clarity of purpose, emotional resilience, and the courage to lead with authenticity, you need to catalyze that reflection, trigger that thought process. So basically, I would say the name represents a journey where self awareness fuels leadership excellence. Would that make
wow.
sense?
Yes, it makes sense. And, since Sanjeev is talking about the business and you're talking about, the leaders and the coaches, I think the inward focus name, as, the essence of it is also applicable on how you scale and grow business. There has to be capacity building, looking into your, okay, so I'm not going to talk. Sanjeev has shared all of these. So we have a question and Sanjeev is going to get detail into it. So, I was always curious because when I met both of you, how beautifully, in partnership, you actually, thrive and, work together in inward focus. So, as coaches, most of our are solopreneurs or have a small team, and we work alone. And it's rare to see a partnership where the business acumen and the coaching mastery come together like yours. So, as a master coach, Sandhya and Sanjeev as a business strategies, how do you make this partnership work? Like, what is the secret to this successful partnership?
Sanjeev, do you want me to go first or what do you want?
Yeah, just go ahead.
Okay. So first things first, before the business partnership, the life partnership started, right? So um, it is what it is. And it's been a great partnership with agreements, disagreements, and agreement and agree to disagree, right? So, on a very serious note, our partnership in life and business thrives because we bring complementary strengths to the table. So, I come perhaps with the expertise of in deep coaching and transformation, and I would say I'm building capacity, capability, perhaps, capability. And Sanjeev, with his strategic mindset and business acumen and his experience, together we create a synergy that makes inward focus a powerful platform, if I may use that term, right? And this comes from respect for each other's expertise. We communicate openly, agree, disagree, talk about it. We stay aligned with our shared vision here. And coaching and business strategy may actually, Debashi, seem like different worlds, but together they create sustainable impact. That's how I would describe my partnership, our partnership here.
Yeah.
Very nice. Sanjay, what's your take on
Yeah, well,
this?
I think there are many reasons why it works. I think the first of those is that, in my view, Sandhya is the more driven person between the two of us. So, I would like to sort of be a couch potato, but she won't let me. And that's a good thing because otherwise you can't run the business by yourself. But otherwise, if you look at the heart and mind of inward focus, she would be the heart. I mean, she has very strong emotional intelligence, which helps because I have none. Uh, she's great with human relationships. I can't figure out why she's on the phone the whole day. My phone calls are yes, no, number, time, date, thank you. So she's great with that. And she really embodies, on the coaching side, she really embodies this coach the person, not the problem kind of thing, which works very well. I'm the structure and logic guy. I mean, I do strategy, I do product, I do finance, those kind of things. And I really don't claim to understand the EQ thing as well as she does. And I've learned to accept that. Um, this works well, especially when you have to balance the logic and the human connection side of things yeah, at opposite ends of the spectrum. We've also sort of learned uh, in our conversations when one or the other is happening. When do we need logic? When do we need connection with people? And we sort of now, with so many years behind us, tend to tend to pick up where the other person leaves off. And I think we also realized that from a harder point of view, we realized early that inward focus is a business. Coaching is the product we sell. Coaching or consulting is the products that we sell. But you can't have a business without a product. But at the same time, you can't have a product that doesn't do business. So you have to put business and the product together, and that's why getting together was important. In my view, that's why this works.
Yeah. Thank you. You demystified the magic and the logic part in business beautifully. And actually, you answered my next question. So, we have some questions from the audience, which we are going to tag. Please, I can see a couple of questions coming in. If you have more, we're going to take the questions at the end. So the next question, like what you brought is about the scale. Like, right now, the world that we are in, scaling coaching business. You said this coaching is a product, consulting is a product, and both has to become a business at the end of the day. So scaling a coaching business is more than just a skill, right? It needs strategy. So Sandhya, what mindset shifts, do you think, Sandhya and Sanjay, the question is to both for you, for a coach to go from that solopreneur mindset to become, I am a business owner and, I can impact a business leader and I can work with businesses. So,
Mhm.
what would be your advice to coaches on the same?
So,
Should I
Debashi,
go?
I would, yeah, please, Sanjeev, just go ahead on that.
Yeah. So I think, Debishi, the answers in your question.
Mm-hmm.
Since you're a solopreneur, the preneur part comes from entrepreneur, and that means you have a business.
Yep.
And so the first thing that one has to do is to think like a business owner first. So it's a bit like, you can't say that I have an MBA degree, now I'm going to sit at home and potential employers are going to stand outside waiting for me to show up so they can give me a job. It doesn't work like that.
Yeah.
You have to go out there and get things done. So equally, just because you have a skill doesn't mean that customers are going to hang around outside your gate. What you need to begin with is a business model because that model is going to determine how you scale your business. See, when you start a business and you say, I'm the resource, time is what I have, and I use that time to sort of practice my skill, you have to understand the limitations of that. There's only you, and there's only 8 working hours in a day. You're not going to scale like that.
Yeah.
The maximum scale is 8 hours a day for one person, right? So you need a business model, and what's that business model? I think if you think of it like this, I'm going to make a statement here. Coaching is the service you deliver to your customers. Now that is a loaded statement. It has coaching, it has service, it has deliver, it has customer. And you got in your business model really got to start thinking about those things. Who is your customer at the end of the day? Specific is terrific. People say, um, business owners are my customers, for instance, in my case. And I said, that's not enough. What's the size of that business? What's the geography they're in? What industry are they in? What age group should they be? So it's really important to know who your customer is, because that's going to inform what relationships you want with the customer. Then you get into more sort of transactional things like, how does the customer know you exist, right? How are you going to reach out to the customer? That's an important part. Who the customer is, and what they like, and how they, what kind of relationships you want with them, will inform what products and services you should offer. And that's an important part of it. Next comes the point, and this is really where the scale issues start coming up. How do you deliver them? Are you doing one-to-one, face-to-face all the time? Well, then your business is going to scale up to the extent of the time available to you. Right? Are you using some of the right channels? Do you know how your business is going to make money? Do you have an entry price point? Then that sort of scales up, or do you
Yeah.
just go big price point? How are you going to make money? What's your cost structure going to be? Therefore, what your profitability is going to be? Do you have any partners in this? So I mean, you can go on. I can go on for a while, but the most important thing you need here is a business model, and that business model has to determine how you're going to scale. Unfortunately, a lot of coaches don't actually really do that. So if you ask me, the three things that you need to work on are the clarity about your goals, especially your business model. The second is a commitment to learn the skills to do all of the things that I was just speaking about. See, it's one thing to build your capability on the coaching side. I get a certification, then I get credentialed for level 1, level 2, level whatever. And that's great. You must do that because you become a better coach. But what about the business? Right? And so you've got to have the willingness and the commitment to learn about building that business model for yourself. And the third is to have the courage to make decisions and the courage to invest in your business. If you ask me, that's the mindset. Coaching comes much later.
Okay. What you've shared, I can completely relate to it. But I'm also, curious to understand, like, this is the mindset of the coaches. What is the message that you have for business owners who'd like to leverage coaching? Because you worked in different scales, and
Yeah.
the market is hungry to grow right now.
Yeah.
How can coaching be how can they leverage coaching to scale? Do you want to share some nuggets from your
Yeah,
experience?
see, for a business owner, one of the things that's similar between most business owners and most solopreneur coaches is none of them invest in a business model, or spend time on a business model. Some businesses are easier to understand. So, for instance, you might wonder then, why do soaps sell better than coaching? Because soaps are much easier to understand and much easier to buy and all that kind of stuff. Coaching is a little more complex. But since we are talking about business owners here, I think three things are really important for a business owner to think about. The first is, what's your strategy, right? The second is, what are the systems that you've built into your business? And the third is, who are the people, what are the teams you have in place to address those strategies? So those are three things that that I would look at. So much of your strategy gets defined in the business model. I'm not going to go into that deeper. I think the second part is, for a business model to work, you need to put some systems in place. And traditionally, I mean, I'd say there are 8 systems that one needs to look at. The first is marketing. How do you find how do customers find you? How do you generate leads? How do you convert leads? That kind of stuff. The second one is sales. How are you going to fulfill? Are your customers going to buy online? Are they going to buy from a store? Are they going to buy from you directly? Do they like to meet you directly? Is there a channel partner? Is there some distribution? That kind of thing. So how does your sales work? The third part is your delivery systems, which is, how do you create and get value to your customer, right? So this is all your internal processes that you need to put in place to build in the efficiencies, so that you can deliver a great customer experience, whether it's in terms of quality, or it's in terms of timeliness, or it's in terms of accuracy of the orders that you deliver. Those systems.
Yeah.
The The fourth one is, if you want to stay relevant in the market today, it's about products and innovation. What products do you have? What's your
True.
customer's life cycle? Do you have a product for every stage of the life cycle? What do you need to keep? What do you need to throw out? Where do you need to innovate? That's the fourth one. Fifth is, do you know your financial numbers? That's really important. Do you know what your revenue is? Do you know what your fixed expenses are? So therefore, do you know what your gross profit is? Do you know what your variable costs are? Do you know what your net profit is? It's one thing for the CA to create your P&L and your balance sheet and all that kind of stuff. But as a business owner, it's important to keep a track of these things. Perhaps the most important one is the human resources system, and it's very complex. It starts all the way from, who do I want to hire? So do I hire for skills? Do I hire for attitude? How do I interview? When people come in, what's their onboarding process? How do I train them? How do I skill them? How do I reward them? How do I review them? So that's the HR system. And then you've got to get into execution. How are you making sure that you achieve your most important goals consistently every time, or at least most of the time? And how do you focus on that? Last one that they need to do is management systems. What is the role? What is the role of the business owner? Right? It is essentially to set up the systems, put people in place, and to review them. It is not to do the work themselves, because if they do the work themselves, then they're just then they're self-employed. They're employed in their own business.
Yeah, I think
Um,
that's the point where coaching comes in, and when you coach, when the leader becomes a coach, and being a part of the ICF award team, global team, I have seen this organizations. What you talked about is getting the ROI, but who is
yeah,
giving the ROI? These are the leaders. And when,
yeah,
consultants come and then they act, get coaching into their conversation, and they are not doing it, they're influencing, they're catalyzing, and the work
yeah,
gets done and you get the ROI. That is a thriving organization. And ICF as a global organization, we have ICF Global Awards where we celebrate
yeah,
organizations who have internal coaching culture developed with external partners and having a very clear ROI. And I can see a lot of questions. People would want to come and meet both of you at Raga. So I think, can we quickly take questions? Is that okay with both of you?
yeah, yeah,
Sure.
yeah.
Great. So the first question is from Amitav. Amitav says, how can one balance the business side of coaching profitability and its transformative essence?
Um, that's interesting. It's in essence a lot of the stuff that we just spoke about. See, these are two different things. I think if you look at if you look at the transformative side of coaching and the business, and this is really about it's really differentiating what you do in your business and what you do in your coaching. So coaching is the product side of things. The business is all of the other things that I spoke about. How do you go out to market? How do you meet customers? So they're different. It's simply a matter of what are you spending your time on. If as a business owner, I would suggest. I know it's hard, but if you get your business model right, I would suggest you spend 80% of your time thinking about how you're going to grow your business. You only work on the actual coaching stuff 20% of the time, and get the rest of the coaching done either by you look at your business model and say, is this going to happen online? Is this going to happen through other coaches? Is this going to happen using some kind of technology that can sort of, if not replace, then at least supplement or enhance what you do? So start looking at business and coaching separately. They are different.
Yeah. Sandhya, do you want to add something to this question?
Not really. No, no, no. All good.
Okay. Yeah, thank you so much for this question. And I think when the business is really working, the transformation is working, it shows, right? So you will see it. The impact is the profit in numbers. It's going to be visible. They're going to be palpable and visible, and a long-term result. Thank you so much. And we have another question. How does a rising coach balance his or her passion, practice, and perspective with respect to coaching?
Um, I don't. I'm not sure I understand the question. Can you just?
I think they're talking about the balance, right? The
between?
passion with which they get into the profession, how they are, working in the industry, they are growing their practice, and the balance between nurturing their clients and getting new work.
Can I take
Okay.
that part of it
Yeah,
at least?
yeah. Okay.
So,
So I get what they mean, because I meet coaches every day who are starting out, who are who really value continuous learning, right? And that is important to keep upgrading our skills. Whether you're a master coach or a PCC or anything, it's a learning continuum. We all know that. However, the same challenge that we spoke about a couple of minutes earlier is that I've got my credential. Now, will my business increase? It doesn't happen automatically. So, balancing is important. How do you balance it? I mean, I think Sanjeev is gonna given a lot of tips. He can reiterate those, because you do need to grow your qualifications, enhance those, but at the same time, coaching is the product. You need to sell it. You need to have a business. It's a service. It's a service like any other professional, a doctor, a lawyer, or anyone. So why do we hold back from that? How do we balance that? You will have to do that entire 80-20
yeah.
balance. Or yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
If
But
I may add,
if you'll permit me, I'll just say do five things. Right. First thing is set clear goals. This is not just about building your technical capability; it's also about building the on the business side. Then commit to
Yeah.
those goals. Commit yourself to those goals. Second thing, right? Third is in this particular instance is to develop your entrepreneurial skills. The answer is actually in your question. What is the
Yeah.
balance today? You do coaching 90% of the time, BD 10% of the time. Is that good enough for you? Right? If you want more business, you just need to spend more time on the business side. So, how do you do that? Don't do everything yourself. Right? Be particular about what you spend your time on. That those are the five things. Set clear goals, commit to those goals, be particular about what you're spending your time on. Don't try to do everything yourself, and most importantly, commit to the goals.
wow. Thank you so much. So, you have a framework to start. And if you have further questions, please come and meet them at Raga. So, the last question for today's session is from Dr. Professor Sona Kaushal Gupta. And her question is, as a coach who is doing a business, do we need to make a company? I have an NGO. How can I work from there and create a business model?
Can I take that?
Yes, of
Yes,
course.
please.
All
It
yours.
yeah, it just boils down to doing four things. Having four things very clear in your mind. The most important is what's your destination, right? If you want to create a coaching business, then I would say a business is a good way to go about it, right? If you're doing this because you're passionate about it, but you really don't think that you want to create all the things that go with a business, then by all means you do what you want. So your destination is important. If you want to create a business that's going to grow and scale, then create a business. If it's something that you want to do because you're passionate about it, and you don't really care that much about a business, well then it's fine to do it from where you're doing. If you do choose to do a business, then the second thing comes in. How are you going to time slice between what you do in the NGO and what you're going to do in the business? So that's an important thing. The third is, I don't think an NGO model is designed to deliver coaching type of solutions, and so you'll have to look at your delivery models quite carefully. You'll also have to look at the financial model quite carefully. I would look at those four things before I go into anything else, because it's a decision point right now.
Right.
And you can get mentoring and you can have a coach to really reflect and see what you want. So your conversation starts here, and beautiful questions. And we have already crossed our
Yes.
the time that we had promised. So I want to you know invite all of you to continue these conversations. Like in my mind, I have so many questions, and I can see people from joining from Jakarta, from Mumbai, from different parts of India and outside the world, who all are facing this same challenge and all are hungry to grow. So thank you so much, Sandhya and Sanjeev, for coming us and making us all, think about how we can grow. Because if we don't grow, the market is either growing or shrinking. It's not that you're going to stay in the same place. So, making 2025 a year of growth in business as a person with inward focus is the mantra that I'm left with. And please, each one of you join us at Raga 12th of February IHC, and it's a day long, starts from 9 a.m. to 5:30 p.m., where you will have experiential sessions with music, theater, and evoking who you are, and you can meet your tribe and get in touch with mentors and thought leaders like Sandhya and Sanjeev. Sandhya is going to do another session, a EQ lab. I can share the details later on. So it's not a lonely journey. And if we really want to go far, you have to go together. So, and it's an invitation for a long journey with the team. I, Divishi, on behalf of the entire Raga team, our president, Radhakant Jaiswal, and our global team is inviting you to grow. So, Sandhya and Sanjeev, one word that you want to say before we close?
Well, um, Sanjeev, go ahead.
Okay. Can I say two?
Sure.
Yes.
So I'd say, to the coaching community, because we had the same problems to begin with.
Yes.
I'd
Yes.
say add one skill, think like a business owner. And the second is do it yourself or get help, but do it.
Absolutely.
Got it.
And
So, hmm,
can I add to that?
yes, please, Satya.
I would say mastery begins with self mastery. And the more deeply you understand yourself, including the business part, the more powerful your coaching impact will be. So keep growing your qualifications, training, and your business.
Got it. So, on that note, have a fantastic weekend, and I will meet all of you personally, and they would answer more questions if you have. So, keep growing. Thank you so much. Stay
Thank
Thank
bright.
you.
you.
Thank you so
Thank
Thank
much.
you.
you. Thank you.